My name is Madeline. I am 26 years old, and last night my sister demanded that I give her $2,800 for her prom. She didn't ask politely. She didn't even hesitate. She stood in the kitchen, nails polished, lips smirking, and said, "Give me $2,800 for prom, now." I looked at her quietly and replied, "Earn it yourself." That's when my phone buzzed. A message from my parents: "Pay up, or you're out of this family." My chest tightened, but not from fear, from clarity. That night, sitting at my desk, I whispered to myself as my finger hovered over my laptop, "Cancel, cancel, cancel it all." Break time equals to south. By 8:30 the next morning, the house no longer belonged to them. But before I explain that part, you need to understand how my family worked. My dad, Leonard, was a corporate manager who bragged about his discipline, but gambled away weekends at the casino. My mom, Patricia, spent every hour chasing social status, always reminding us how much she had sacrificed. My sister, Tessa, the golden child, lived without limits. Private tutors, dance classes, new clothes every season, everything handed to her. And me, I was the quiet one, the overlooked one. I worked full-time in digital marketing, saved every penny, and still covered bills they never thanked me for. Only one person ever seemed to see me, my grandmother. She was frail, but her kindness was unshakable. While others mocked me for being too serious, she'd squeeze my hand and say, "Madeline, patience is power. One day, you'll know when to act." If you're watching this, drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because what happened next isn't just betrayal, it's proof that silence is sharper than any weapon. That morning, I walked into the living room where Tessa was practicing prom poses in her glittering dress. She barely noticed me. Dad sat on the sofa reading financial news, pretending to be in control. Mom scrolled through online boutiques, adding more items to her cart. I held my phone, and I smiled, because one by one, the dominoes were about to fall. I thought I had planned for peace, but peace wasn't what the universe had in store. I thought pressing cancel would be the last step, until the first call came in. The call came at 9:15 a.m. sharp. It was the event planner for Tessa's prom. Her voice trembled as she said, "Miss Madeline, we just received notice your family's payment card has been declined. The entire booking is now frozen." I leaned back in my chair and whispered, "Perfect. Break time equals to south greater than sea." What my parents and sister never realized was that almost everything they used, cards, accounts, deposits, ran through me. Years of covering for their emergencies had put my name on files they never even checked. I was the one they trusted to make the calls, to fix the issues. So when they demanded $2,800, they forgot one detail. I had the power to make every luxury they flaunted vanish. By mid-morning, Mom stormed into my room, heels clacking on the floor. Her voice was sharp. "What did you do?" "The boutique says the account's locked. They're refusing to release my dresses." I stayed calm. "Maybe you should pay for them yourself." Her face turned crimson. "Don't you dare talk back. You're nothing without us." I didn't argue. I didn't shout. Instead, I opened my laptop and began typing. Dad appeared next, holding his phone tightly, jaw clenched. "Madeline," he said, trying to sound firm, "the mortgage payment bounced. The bank called me directly." I met his eyes. "Maybe you should have checked your own statements once in a while." He froze, realizing I wasn't bluffing. Behind him, Tessa was whining, "Daddy, what about my prom car? They said the limo's canceled. How am I supposed to show up like this?" Her words made me want to laugh, but I didn't. I just closed the laptop gently and stood. I remembered my grandmother's words again. Patience is power. But patience had done its time. Now it was execution. Because everything they thought was guaranteed was already unraveling. And just when I thought their panic was loud enough, the knock on the door proved otherwise. The knock was heavy, sharp, impatient. Dad opened the door, trying to put on his usual fake smile. But the man standing outside wasn't here for pleasantries. It was the bank officer, Mr. Leonard. "We need to discuss your accounts immediately. Several payments have been reversed overnight. Unless this is resolved today, there will be serious consequences." I watched Dad's smile collapse. His eyes darted toward me, then back at the officer. He stammered, There must be some mistake." The officer replied coldly, "Then perhaps your daughter can explain. Her name is on the authorizations. Break time equals to south." In that moment, silence filled the room. Mom's hand shook as she gripped her coffee cup. Tessa stomped her feet like a child. What does this even mean? Why is she involved in everything? I finally spoke. .com. Even, direct. It means you treated me like your safety net, and now I've cut the net. Flashbacks rushed into my mind as I stood there. Dad sneering at me when I couldn't attend my college trip because I had to pay utilities. Mom mocking me for shopping clearance racks while she showed off handbags I'd unknowingly funded. Tessa parading around in outfits worth my entire month's rent, laughing. You'll never be more than my backup bank. For years, I swallowed those insults. For years, I paid the price. But not anymore. The bank officer placed documents on the table. These accounts are suspended. Unless cleared, repossession procedures may begin. Mom gasped. Repossession. Dad snapped at me, voice cracking. Fix this now, Madeline. You're ruining us. I met his glare and whispered, No, I'm freeing myself. Tessa wailed. What about my prom night? Her words sounded absurd in the middle of financial ruin. The officer excused himself, leaving chaos behind. Mom clutched Dad's arm. Dad looked at me like I had become a stranger. Tessa sat on the stairs, mascara streaking her cheeks, and I just stood there, finally breathing. But I had no idea their desperation was about to turn into something darker. That evening, the house felt like a storm. Mom paced the living room, muttering about ruined reputations. Dad sat stiffly, dialing numbers that no longer answered. And Tessa, she locked herself in her room, blasting music to drown out reality. I stayed at the dining table, sipping tea. Watching. Then Dad finally exploded. You ungrateful brat, he shouted, slamming his fist on the table. Do you realize what you've done? We built this family and you just tore it down in a single night. I tilted my head. Built what? Lies, debts, a princess lifestyle for Tessa while I paid the bills. Mom spun toward me, eyes blazing. Don't you dare talk about your sister like that. She deserves happiness and like you, always sulking, always judging. Her words cut, but only for a second, because truth had already replaced pain inside me. Break time equals to South. Flashback. I remembered last Christmas, when I begged Dad for help covering my tuition loan. He laughed, tossed me a $20 bill, and said, Don't spend it all at once. Meanwhile, he wired thousands into Tessa's dance program.org. The summer, when Mom forgot my birthday but spent weeks planning Tessa's Sweet 16, they didn't just neglect me, they erased me. That night, Dad tried to corner me. You think you're strong because you pressed a few buttons. Fine, but you'll regret this when we're gone. No family means no future. Madeline, I looked him straight in the eye. No family, you made sure of that years ago. I went upstairs and opened my grandmother's old wooden box. Inside was a letter she left for me, her handwriting shaky but clear. When they push you out, let it be the moment you step in. Their loss will be your beginning. Her words steadied me. Meanwhile, downstairs, I heard Mom whispering urgently into the phone. She's destroying us. We need to stop her before she takes everything. I froze at the top of the stairs, because the person she was calling wasn't a stranger. It was someone I thought was loyal to me. I leaned closer, holding my breath. Mom's voice was sharp, desperate. She's turning against us. Daniel, you have to talk sense into her. You're the only one she trusts. Daniel, my cousin, the only family member I ever believed was on my side. That my chest tightened. For years, he'd been the one checking in on me. The one who slipped me cash when Dad refused. The one who told me, Don't worry, Mads, I've got you. And now, he was part of their plan. Break time equals to South. I stepped back into my room, shutting the door quietly. My hands trembled not from fear, but from the sting of betrayal layered over betrayal. Flashback. I remembered Daniel at Thanksgiving, defending me when Tessa mocked my thrift store shoes. At least she pays for her own, he'd said. I thought he was different, but maybe he was just waiting for his moment too. The next morning, Daniel showed up at the house. He smiled at me like nothing was wrong. Hey Mads, let's talk. I crossed my arms. Talk, or convince me. His eyes flickered. He sat down, lowering his voice. Look, you've made your point. They're shaken, but don't go too far. Just restore the accounts. You'll still have control, but they'll calm down. I studied him. His words sounded rehearsed like he'd been coached, like Mom had already fed him the lines. Why? I asked quietly. He hesitated, then sighed. Because family is all we have. I laughed bitterly. Funny. They only say that when they want something. Daniel reached across the table, voice soft. Mads, I'm only saying this because I care. Don't isolate yourself. You'll regret it. For a moment, I wanted to believe him. But then I noticed his phone screen lighting up under the table. A text from Mom. Did she agree yet? My stomach dropped. I stood, pushing the chair back. You're not here for me. You're here for them. His face hardened. Madeline, don't make a mistake you can't undo. That's when I realized I wasn't fighting just my parents and sister anymore. I was fighting every alliance they'd built against me. The house felt heavier after Daniel left. I sat in my room, staring at the ceiling, hearing muffled voices downstairs. My parents were plotting. Tessa was crying dramatically about her ruined prom. And Daniel, well, he had chosen his side. For the first time, I wasn't sad. I was awake. Break time equals to south. Greater than that night, I opened my laptop again. Every account, every hidden transfer, every secret deposit, they were all right there. My parents had built their lives on my discipline, my caution, my silence. And now, I would take back every thread. I canceled the standing orders for Dad's credit cards. I blocked Mom's boutique auto payments. I froze the prom fund that Tessa assumed was hers. But I didn't stop there. I remembered all the times they said I wasn't fun enough, not family enough. So I drafted emails to the bank, the club, the school board, each outlining who had actually been paying my name, not theirs. For years they painted me as invisible. By sunrise, they wouldn't be able to hide me anymore. Around midnight, I heard footsteps outside my room. Mom's voice hissed. She's going too far. Leonard, we need to get her out. Dad's low growl followed. If she wants war, she'll regret it. My fingers froze above the keyboard. Was this still about money, or had it become about control? The next morning, chaos exploded. Mom's favorite boutique called her orders cancelled. Dad's prestige golf membership revoked. Tessa's limo driver refused service. Every luxury they flaunted had vanished. And me, I stood in the kitchen, pouring coffee.com as ever. Dad stormed in, his face red. What did you do? I sipped slowly. I finally stopped paying for your throne. He slammed the counter. This is our house. You can't just... But I cut him off, voice steady. Actually, Dad, you might want to check whose name is really on the deed. The look on his face told me he already knew the truth. And that's when Mom screamed upstairs. Mom's single quotes as scream shook the walls. I rushed upstairs, not out of fear but curiosity. She was in her room, clutching her laptop, eyes wide with disbelief. My account, she stammered. All my online orders, my savings, it's gone. She turned to me, voice shrill. You thief, you ruined me. I stepped closer. Calm. No, Mom. I just returned everything you took from me. Years of my salary, my savings, you drained it all to feed appearances. Now the balance has shifted. Break time equals to south. Tessa burst in, makeup smeared, hair tangled. I can't go to prom like this, she sobbed. Everyone will laugh at me. I have nothing to wear, no car, no dinner booked. Her words hit me like déjà vu. That was how I felt every birthday they ignored, every celebration they erased. Except when it was me, no one cared. Downstairs, Dad's phone rang. His voice cracked through the floorboards. Please, give me time. I'll find the funds. Don't repossess. The mighty man, the one who mocked me for being too serious, was now begging like a child. And for once, I didn't feel pity. Daniel returned that afternoon, storming in without knocking. Madeline, enough, he barked. You're destroying the family name. This isn't just about them, it's about all of us. I folded my arms. All of us, or just the ones who feasted while I starved. He glared. Undo this, or you'll regret it. I leaned closer, whispering, no, Daniel, the regret is already theirs. You just joined the wrong team. By evening, the house looked nothing like itself. Mom pacing with red eyes, Dad silent, broken, holding his head in his hands. Tessa curled up on the couch, phone buzzing with messages from friends asking about her big night. And me, I packed a single suitcase. Because revenge wasn't just about stripping them bare. It was about walking away with everything they thought I'd never have. Freedom. That as I zipped my bag, my phone buzzed with one final notification. The transfer had cleared. The notification glowed on my screen. Transfer successful. I exhaled slowly. It was done. All the accounts, the savings, the hidden balances my parents thought were theirs, were now locked under my name. I didn't steal a penny. I simply reclaimed what had always been mine. Break time equals to south. I wheeled my suitcase down the stairs. Mom rushed forward, eyes wild. You can't leave us like this. We're family. I paused at the door. Family, I whispered. Family doesn't demand money with threats. Family doesn't erase one daughter to crown another. You never wanted a daughter, you wanted a wallet. Dad's voice was hollow, broken. Madeline, please, we have nothing left. I turned to him, my heart steady. No, Dad, you still have each other, and that's exactly what you always chose, each other, and Tess over me. Tessa stumbled forward. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. You ruined my prom, she sobbed. I looked at her and smiled softly. No, Tessa, I saved you, because one day, when the world doesn't bow to you, you'll know how it feels to stand on your own. I stepped outside, the air crisp against my face. Daniel leaned against his car, arms crossed, waiting. Leaving, he asked. Yes, I said calmly. You think this is victory? He challenged. I met his eyes. No, Daniel, this isn't victory, it's release. I don't need to win against them. I just needed to stop losing myself. For once, he had no answer. I walked away, suitcase rolling on the pavement, my phone buzzing with silence. No begging texts, no controlling calls, just freedom. That night, in my new apartment, I brewed tea and opened my grandmother's letter again. Her words glowed brighter than ever. Their loss will be your beginning. She was right. If you've ever faced betrayal, share it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes the best revenge isn't shouting or fighting, it's walking away. Stronger, while they crumble in the emptiness they created. Break time equals to south. They cut me out, I cut them off.